Motown's #1 rock station, Z159 FM.
Right.
Your only home for the Hot Tub and Mini Fridge Morning Show and Dump 'em Out Fridays.
Ooh, yeah, a hot tub and mini fridge. Keep me cold and hot.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Squirt.
Squirt who?
Squirt is P, you dumb rednecks.
Right about now, you are listening to the incredible
A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan, who kindly remind you that squirt is P.
turn that down. Oh my God, it's cool when the cameras come on and people see who we have here. They're gonna be blown away. I love it. All right, I'm gonna get his camera straight here. Oh yeah, that looks so good on camera. Oh man, that looks awesome. That's gonna freak people out too. Like, what the hell is that? Who is that?
Okay, where's the camera?
Right there.
Yeah.
That's
There we
you.
go.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That is you right
Awesome.
there. And then I'll center up this one shot, and then that looks good there. And we'll bring him down like that. All right, Mr. Van, let me kill the music.
Let's do it.
All right. And again, thank you again for being here, man. And thanks to SJ for...
Thank you for the invite. This is,
he's pretty pumped. People are in there. We have this chat function where people can... they can hit the button and then say, like, it'll say who the guest is, and it says your name, and then everyone's like, what? Who? And then a lot of people know who you are. That's the best part, is that, like, you're known.
The funny thing is, when I got your invitation, the guard goes up, unfortunately, because I'm getting a lot of, like, podcast scams.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean,
we should talk about that.
Usually the flag comes up, though, when they start, like, oh, we'll give you $5,000 to show
They will
up.
not give you $5,000.
Yeah, I know.
We don't have that kind of money. We're podcasters.
That's
get
interesting.
about an inch
I've
off of
never-
it. Move that thing on. Push that mic on up to you.
Oh,
there you
yeah.
go.
I've
Or you
never
can bring
even
it back
heard
to you
of
if
that.
that's better.
Are we on now?
Yeah, yeah.
No, we didn't start the show.
We
yet.
didn't start the show, but
We're-
we are live.
We are
Okay.
live
Yeah.
on Twitch and YouTube.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we record live, but then the actual radio show, well, you'll hear us start, and
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of weird.
You know,
like
it's
the new school, old school hybrid we're running around here.
You know what? I like your positivity on that. 'Cause I was gonna go so negative. I was gonna be like, "We're this dumb old man doing a dumb old style."
No, yeah, because we still record it live on Twitch and YouTube, and basically, but then we'll take sections, like sometimes we'll do the podcast uncensored, and then we'll do the radio show podcast, and that's ACT, the one that we air on the radio. But
We're
actually,
like you. We gotta hustle, man. We gotta
yeah,
do. We gotta
you're
work.
adopting all, then we're
That's a lot of work.
It is,
Yeah.
but we like it.
Yeah.
At least right now.
You have the harder job, though.
Yeah,
I've
you
watched
do.
you many a times on social media, and the improv.
And he sounds
of
good now. That's perfect.
entertaining people live, and every single person's a new person. Although
It's my favorite form of entertainment is live entertainment.
Oh yeah, same here.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's stop ruining the interview. Okay, you start. Here we
All right,
go.
here we go.
And 3, 2.
Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We're live on Twitch and YouTube. We'd love it if you join us. Just search for @TomandDanLive, and you could see like crazy guests. And we have this is a white whale.
Yeah.
This is like an Orlando royalty.
White-faced whale.
A white, we can say that. I think we can say that.
Can't say the other one, though.
No, you cannot. You cannot. Absolutely.
So let's do some weird job.
Let's weird job it up, folks.
Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit.
I love the room.
It's
now.
another
It's like
Weird
really
Job
comfortable.
Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people?
It's very long.
Working
The longest
the hour.
theme in the business.
It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday.
The kids, they like their themes fast now on the social
Oh,
media.
yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
In studio with us right now for
is
a little
huge.
Weird Job Mime Wednesday.
Yes.
Is Tom the Mime. How you doing, Tom?
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yes, I am talking.
Yeah. You're freaking. One of the comments in the chat room
Yeah.
was 15 years of seeing this gentleman. First time I've heard him talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's people probably listening going, wait a minute, there's something wrong here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you are an Orlando entertainment institution, man. I think most people around. Well, seriously, if you know the
Yeah.
parks, you know Tom the Mime.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
do. You just if you are an Orlando person, you know who you are.
So let's just go back. We'll get into the social media following you have because it's gigantic and all that later. But how'd you get into the miming business?
Right after high school, I started kind of getting the entertainment bug. I was doing some improv stuff. involved in a comedy troupe called the Home Fries.
Okay.
But that wasn't a full-time gig. That was just kind of like a night thing. And
Yeah.
I just, once you get the bug, it's like, man, and this is back when I was, after high school. I
So
was
you're like an improv comedy guy.
Yeah, 18, 19 years old. And I was like, man, I want to do this full-time. And unfortunately, living in Daytona, it's like, okay, I can't do anything like that in Daytona. So
Not that many improv gigs in
No,
Daytona.
no.
It was,
So,
But they had comedy clubs, I think, or maybe
yeah,
one or.
we actually, the Home Fries, the group I was in at that time, we did some improv stuff at a restaurant/club and hotel.
Yeah.
And they had us on like on a Monday night.
Right.
But like I
right.
said, I got the bug. I'm like, man, how do I do this full time? And I didn't want to do the cruise ship thing. So I found an opportunity at SeaWorld.
Yeah.
They were looking for a mime, and to be honest with you, I was like, I don't want to be him. I was one of those mime haters, to believe it or not.
Really?
I was like, I
yeah.
can't stand mimes. But a buddy explained to me, no, these guys, they're a little different. They're not your traditional mime. They don't do the invisible box, that
I
type
love
of
the
stuff.
invisible box.
No.
Yeah.
I like the rope.
Yeah, I do love the rope. I mean, he's more of a box guy. I'm rope all day.
I'll do a cardboard box, just
Yeah.
no invisible box.
So you're putting your own spin on it, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
Is it at the time? Were you thinking about like, okay? First of all, were you a mime before you got the mime gig, or
No,
did the gig come to you and you're like, I can do mime?
I didn't know anything. Like I said, I'm like, I'm not a mime. But when I started doing a little research, and I'm like, oh, okay, these guys are different. Okay, yes, they're a mime, as far as their costume and all that, and they
Yeah.
got the face and they can't talk. But basically, it's just it's the gig that's always famous, bringing people. They act as an escort. They bring them in one side, they take them clear across the other side,
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. You
Yeah,
know?
I've seen you do that
some
gag
it's like
so
crowd
many
work.
times.
Yeah.
It's one of my
They're
favorite
talking.
gags.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite gags of all time. The usher through the audience and then
Yeah.
out the other door.
Yeah.
And man, I've seen you make a biker mad.
Yeah.
I've seen you.
The problem with that, we've been doing it for so long, people are onto it now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
they know
But
it's
we
coming
still
there.
get those people that
Well,
are
you want
clueless.
it. You want
and
it,
they're
right?
Like,
Like
yeah.
if you're there, it's kind of like when you go to see Dave Chappelle. You're like, there's certain jokes you hope he does. You know,
yeah.
or like more like
Yeah,
a Mitch Hedberg. Dave
Yeah.
Chappelle, bad example, but more like Mitch Hedberg when you know there's certain things you want to see, and you're like, please give it to me. you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like I said, okay, I can do that, So, and my thoughts at the time were like, let me just kind of dip into this for a couple years. I'll move on to something
How do you
bigger and better.
practice it?
35 years later, here I am.
So did you have someone teach you? Did you have to learn like as an apprentice under someone else?
Yeah, there was a good buddy of mine, Len. He's still doing it too. He's doing the fair circuit right now. And he was like, he was the guy kind of gave me. I've always been my own type of performer. I do my own thing, but I got a lot of stuff from him.
Okay.
And but.
Well, let's just break down the mime because start with the face paint. So that's traditional that we've all recognized as
Right.
the white face paint on a mime. Did you know the history behind that, or like why that is? Or
Yeah, I did a little research on it.
I like that you didn't do that much. Though.
Yeah,
that makes me want to hug you. You're like
I
a
didn't-
Florida mime.
I
think
really-
you're
like I
the
said,
Florida
How
mime.
many years, by the way, have you been doing this?
35 years.
35
Yeah.
years. 35
Yeah.
years. You're like, I
got a
know a
gist
little
of
bit
it.
about
I got the gist of it.
my whole thing was I want to put my own spin on it. You
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, and it's worked out.
Okay, this is
I like
gonna
that, by
sound-
the way, because
this is so truthful.
I have
though.
no idea how radio works, like terrestrial radio or like
Yeah.
AM, FM. I don't even know. Like,
It's
you ask
magic. It might as well be magic.
If you ask me the science behind like radio waves, I'm like no idea. They're like
Yeah.
they've been in
But
it for
here
25
is why
years.
I like it. Sometimes when I think it's almost like it's like when you go to a music school, and sometimes you go there and you're told that what you're doing is absolutely incorrect. When you could have been left alone, and maybe your style of performing music just
Yeah,
would have
yeah,
been
yeah.
your own style.
Right.
So there is there is some comfortability and ignorance
Yeah.
because you can do your own thing. You know,
Yeah.
I like that.
Exactly. And I
You
think
know?
that's one reason why I've gotten so popular is because I am a little different. And I get a lot of guys. I mean, they're like the older, chubby, bald guys, and they can relate to me. That's not what you normally see when you see a mime performer, or
Yeah,
You know,
it's
they're-
usually a skinny Frenchman.
Exactly.
It is normally a skinny Frenchman, and
I'm
he's
just-
very cocky.
You know,
Very cocky.
I'm just a normal dude, but I'm wearing the makeup and all that, and
Yeah.
I mix in a little bit of making fun of people.
Yeah.
But I don't call it making fun of people anymore. I call it having fun with people.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Well, you're not really mean-spirited either. It's
Yeah.
more of a it's loose.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's like, it's
Right.
very old school. I always liked it because it seemed very old school, and I always like seeing entertainment when you're doing something that shouldn't be entertaining, right? You're
Right.
filing in for the show, but you're doing a show while people are filing in. I would say that's the toughest audience because people are irritated. They're trying to get in. They're trying to find the right seat and get grandma sat down and get
Yeah.
the baby situated. And did you get your last beverage or this sort of thing?
I want to see Shamu.
Yeah. So
Well, this time of the year is tough too. When it starts warming up, getting hot.
Oh.
And it's that transition, and you're doing a show, and you're not hearing the laughter, and you're looking up, and all you see is people fanning themselves.
Oh, they're burning alive.
They're fanning. They're not used to the heat, and so that affects the performance.
Yeah,
You know.
And then all the dads are like, "At least I paid $1,800 for this. I'm gonna bring my
Yeah.
whole family." And I'm so hot. But so like,
How do you practice it? Like, do you remember your first couple times of doing it? Like getting out there and like, was it
Oh
scary?
yeah, I remember
or-
the first time I went out there, I was still trying to get used to the whole crowd thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's about 3,000 people that sit there,
It's
and,
a big
and that's a
place.
pretty good amount of people.
Oh, yeah.
Staring at you, going,
Some people will
"Okay,
never
white,
play for
a
that."
white guy, friggin' perform for me." You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, see what you know.
But that's a big. I think some people will never get a crowd that big. Like some people
Yeah,
are,
yeah, yeah.
full-blown entertainers that try to do similar to something what you do, and they'll never have 3,000 people captivated.
Yeah.
You know, like that's
Yeah.
cool.
3 times a day or whenever, I don't know the
Right,
schedule.
right.
Lots of
Yeah.
you're performing in front of lots of people.
First time I went out there, I had some notes inside my head going, "Okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that." I had about 6 or 7. I don't think I did any one of them. I just, I kind of went into my own thing, and it worked out. They liked me, or like, let's keep them on, and
So
awesome.
let's talk about going, like when you go into it, is it a character?
yes and no. It's a little bit of a character, but some of it's my own character, my true self.
Okay.
It's a little bit of both, you
So
know.
I kind of look at it like a
Extension?
radio DJ, where it's like, you know, you're saying what, but just
You're like
exaggerated.
a silent man cow.
Yeah.
But everything's just exaggerated, so it's like you still your personality's in there, but
Yeah.
you're Tom the Mime.
How would
and
you
it's just-
mime Baba Booey?
It's an extension of yourself.
Yeah, my mime character, it's okay, it's sarcastic, it's, you know, I kind of make fun of you a little bit.
mischievous.
But then I that's me also. That's
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's the Tom guy also.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But so a little bit of both. And I've changed throughout the years also. You know, I used to be a little
Like
bit
the Undertaker. Remember when he went biker?
yeah.
Yeah, that's the second time this week I've brought that up.
But my change has been for the good. I'm a little bit more, I don't know, sensitive. I'm a little more flirtatious with people.
Okay.
And just
Horny
having
mime.
fun with people. Like I said, it's not all about going out there trying to make fun of somebody, which you
Right.
have to be careful doing that anyway these days. But it's all about having fun, and this is my motto now: good vibes.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's all about creating good vibes, and
So, like, even going back to the face makeup, have you always done the same?
pretty much.
you
That's
know-
that's you know, I've maybe when I first started, I think my eyebrows were like wee, and then I found out, you know, that takes too darn long to do.
Simplify
I'm
it,
just
yeah,
going to chirp, there it goes.
Just
like,
a
you
couple
know,
of strips there.
I've always been known, like from the other mimes, especially Lynn, my buddy I used to work with. He used to laugh at me. He used to. Sometimes we'd work together, and it'd take him an hour to put the makeup on, and then I'm like, boom, 10 minutes, I'm done. He's like, oh my God, you do the makeup so quick. And I just,
You're more efficient.
Yeah.
Because you realize you're like, people get
Florida
the gist.
mime knows what he's doing.
They get the gist. I'm Tom the Mime. It's more than just the face paint.
yeah.
Now I've noticed too, like in you know, from following you on social media, and like
Do mimes use a whistle? Is that mimes?
Some of them do. There's a guy over in Europe who's, don't even ask me, he's got a really weird name. It's
Most Europeans do. I hate that.
yeah, but he's famous in Europe, and he uses a whistle, which helps out a lot. You know, you can
Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they go like, "Da, da, da, da,"
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they point to things. They'll be like, "Da, da, 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 da,
Cirque du Soleil does that with
Yes.
the clowns a lot,
Yes.
and which
That's
they're
a French thing.
Well, they're also borderline mimes too, because they're clowns, but they're miming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like in Cirque
the
du Soleil.
whistle can help you out. Like you can even like what he did, do 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 do. But you can even use it as like expressing like, ooh, like that.
Oh, sad.
But-
Oh my God, I knew
Right.
exactly what you
You
were
can
doing.
use sad
I
was a
mean-
happy whistle.
Yeah, you got
Yeah, and it helps you. It's like a little bit of a, it helps you out a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I'm still, like I said, I'm not your traditional mime, but in that aspect, I'm old school. I like just, leaving everything out, just going visual, just completely visual.
Yeah, so you're silent, completely
Oh,
silent.
completely, yeah.
Have you ever had to talk because something was like happening and you needed to like save a person from falling over, or like whoa, like have you ever had to break
Every
character?
once in a while, something will happen, and I'll have to like whisper to someone's ear, like,
Yeah, yeah.
"Go sit down."
Oh, the security's coming.
Yeah.
Ma'am, your dress is on fire.
Now,
Yeah.
and we'll get into your social media following, but it's gigantic, millions of followers.
I think it's the most of anybody I've ever seen, really.
But it also, and because you've been doing it for so long, what I find interesting is the sociology experiment of it, where you've just spent years and years working with people in the theme parks, right? And with doing that, you get an insight into humanity that a lot of people don't get. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all around humanity, but you're working with strangers at all times. People that are happy, people that are sad, people that are hot,
Yeah.
people that
are angry,
are angry,
irritated.
yeah. And then
Tired.
instantly, like through repetition, I'm guessing you learn that like how each personality is kind of like how it's gonna go, and probably that most humans are kind of the same and react the same. Is that true?
It's very true. And as far as the people, everyone's different, and when they walk in the show, or if I'm doing appearances, I've learned, because I've been doing this for so long, 35 years, I'm a good judge of character. I can actually look at somebody and I can kind of tell you what type of personality they have.
And
Read Tom right now.
Yeah.
And
What do you think of that guy?
He's a boring guy. He's very,
Yeah, but,
Wow,
but,
what am I reading?
but
Read me,
here's the
read
thing,
me,
Tom-
read me.
Tom-
Use your mind powers. He's miming me. Hold on.
you know what? You're probably a lot like me. You're
Yeah.
sarcastic.
Yeah.
You're a down to earth type of. Actually,
Just a
both of
good
you got
guy.
that.
I'm just a down-to-earth, big
I'm
ding-dong
picking good
guy.
vibes from both of you.
Thank you.
And that's why I'm here. I mean,
Yeah, we appreciate that, man.
So, but Tom, I will interact with you. I won't be the grumpy dad that's like, oh, no, I'm not.
Oh,
gonna
you
play."
would never do that because the show must, like, you wouldn't ruin everybody else's
No,
time.
yeah. If you came
Yeah.
up to me and wanted to do something
He'd
with
have
me,
to participate.
I will, put you over. I will never not do the bit.
Yeah.
If you want me to do something, you're like, hey, you're like,
Actually, both of us
start
are those,
dancing.
like,
Come on,
we,
let's do it.
you know what I think? You may have just stumbled upon something that's super important. We're different in our personalities, but the one thing where we do meet in the middle is if you need us to entertain at the
Well,
same
we
time.
like entertaining.
But we
Yeah.
won't.
It's
We
our
won't
job.
let the show fall down.
No,
we're
no,
not.
yeah, yeah,
I
right.
will not. We'll literally.
Yeah.
We'd rather sync with it than
And
let it fade away.
It's more awkward, and I'm sure you've dealt with these people, and you know how you've done it a million times, where the person that doesn't want to interact with you at all.
Oh, yeah.
But
Do
you
like
turn that into a bit,
Do you
right?
like that as a challenge, or
not really. I
That's
used
an
to.
honest
It
answer.
used to be a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm just convinced I'm going to turn you around. But these days, you just can't risk that. If you approach someone and they just come across, they don't want to be messed with, you just do not mess with them.
and just move on.
Because
to the
for
next
some
one.
reason, they might be like that completely all the time, or they just be, they could be an upset dad spending all kinds of money getting into the park, and now you got this mime coming up to me, wanting
Yeah.
to do something with me.
Yeah,
read the
you know,
room, mime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's like when you see this person walk in, you're like, oh, this guy or girl will have fun with me. Like,
Yeah.
who's like
Yeah.
if you're in a stereotype, the best, I guess, participant in the show.
Yeah, who's your best mark?
Yeah. Or is it all
the
always
big
different?
guys? The big
Okay.
guys, man, you can never go wrong with
Like
a
a
big.
funny teddy bear.
Oh yeah, you can never go wrong with a big guy, and even bikers, man. I have fun with bikers, and you would think that'd be the opposite. What the heck are you going to a biker? But my first time doing bike week in Daytona, and I'm big in Daytona because I live there,
Yeah.
and I ride a Harley, me and my wife.
Do you ride it in the mime makeup?
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
although we're thinking about getting rid of it because I did take a spill.
Oh, yeah. You got to be
And
careful. And
so
people are
we-
driving wild.
So we're kind of tossing around whether we want to keep her or not. But I went out and got me a slingshot a couple months ago, so I'm incorporating that
Tom,
into my thing.
I was gonna scream out, just get a slingshot. I swear.
And he got one already.
I was gonna.
Are you guys related? Are you related to a Florida mime man?
Well, we got a lot in common.
You are a mime, and you
We
have
like
a
Daytona.
slingshot.
I have and get this, it's a white and black slingshot.
Oh,
You have a mime shot.
And it's going to have, so if you see a mime face, a guy with a mime face, and he's riding a white and black slingshot, and his logo is on the hood, and it says "Good Vibes." Chances are that might be me.
Okay. Also,
This is the most
breaking
Florida
news.
thing.
Also, breaking news from Tracy in our chat room. If he has the time, we're going to book him for the next BDM appreciation party. He's been booked. Personal appearance, a ride up with a slingshot, and do a little bit of miming, sign some autographs.
I'll be right there.
All right, Tracy, put it together. We're doing
got
it.
Get going, Tracy. Let's
But that
go.
would crush. Like, people would love to see a mime on a badass motorcycle.
Yeah.
A slingshot.
That's so Tom and Dan. It hurts too. I love that. Wow, man, that's
Oh,
really fun.
and I get my followers too, especially when we're riding our bike. You know, I have a picture of it, me and my wife on the Harley, and they're like, "Oh man, we didn't know you ride the bike.
It's Tom the Mime.
That makes me love you even more, dude."
That's ridiculous, man. That's wild. I love
Tom,
it.
Yeah.
I want to know how the social media started.
Oh, man,
Because like, when did you realize like people wanted to see this? You're like, because you're performing every day, daily. So you're putting on lots of shows, and before the social media, no one except for a live audience saw it.
Yeah.
And then when did you decide like, hey, I should film this? Or
Well, actually, I don't film it. I have a group of bloggers that actually show up, and they got their own Facebook, Instagram, and all that. So I don't film it at all.
oh, really? So
yeah.
this all.
I have their permission to use it on my Facebook and Instagram. It's actually their content, and it's a public domain type thing. They can go into the parks and record the shows, and that's what they do. They're content creators. And
Do they give you the footage to post on your own, or do
Or you
you
just get it from him?
piggyback on it?
I just piggyback on it. I just
Oh my
post it
God,
on
you're
there.
a genius Florida mime. He's not even filming it himself.
Florida business mime.
He's not. He's a Florida business mime. He's not even filming it
Yeah.
himself. He's having other people film it. He's just like, hey, don't forget to credit me. Don't forget to credit me.
Well, it's funny this is how the whole thing started. As far as the whole popularity, Facebook Reels is what really kind of got things going.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started getting people going, "Oh, I seen you come up on my wall on Facebook and this and that." Started getting that a little bit, and then all of a sudden, I got this video that went viral. You might have seen the video. It's a couple walks in, and it's a couple, man and woman, and the woman's got the baby in her hand. She's carrying the baby, and she's got a backpack. The guy is not carrying a thing.
Yeah, yes, I've seen.
You probably seen that.
Everybody's seen.
Everybody has seen this.
They're
video.
making fun of the lazy dad mime.
So they walk in, and I'm like, bing, opportunity. So I go to them. I'm doing the mime gesturing thing, like, "Are you guys together?" Yes. So I'm like, reach my hands out. "Can I have your bag?" She gives me the bag. I look to the guy. I give it to him, and I do the shame on you type thing.
Oh.
And people just went nuts over it, and it went viral. In fact, the couple was on Good Morning America, I believe.
Why were they on Good Morning
I
America?
know, it's like
You did it all
I
for
know,
them.
I'm like,
Mad
wait
about
a
that.
minute.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to. We're have to fix that.
I'm the
Yeah.
lazy dad that the mime
But what
pointed
would-
out.
Make me famous.
But what happened was,
Follow me,
'cause you know how-
lazy dad on TikTok.
because you know how what happens with all the comments on social media, people are like giving the poor guy a hard time.
Oh
Yeah, oh,
Death
yeah.
Oh,
threats.
it was
They
crazy.
burned his house down.
Oh, it was
I'll
crazy.
kill you.
Some guy in a rubber mask killed him and his wife last night. They broke into his house. He's posing as a police officer. It's
And
wild out there.
It turns out that this was like later part of the day when I came to my show. I guess he was like he was doing all the work all day, and it just so happened that like 2 minutes.
I don't believe that for a
That's
second.
what I would say, Tom.
I don't believe that. That's what a liar like Tom, my Tom would say.
She's like, "Here, let me help you out," and it was a bad timing thing.
Yeah. Actually, I've been carrying it all day. Yeah, right, lazy dad.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, you born lazy.
I think Tom the Bob calls him like he sees them.
So,
Yeah.
was that the, I guess, catalyst to like, hey, I need to start an account and start posting this
Well,
stuff
by
myself?
then I already started my Facebook.
Okay.
I really didn't care about doing a Facebook page, and at that time I wasn't aware of the whole content creating type part of that. I just created it. And more or less just maybe get some gigs once in a while.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason I did it. But when the reels started coming up and then that video went viral, it just launched me. And then all of a sudden I started getting these numbers come in. And I'm like, it was crazy. It just started going. And
Are you able to pad your pockets at all from that? Does it help?
yeah, it's
Nice.
It's turned into a pretty good situation. I mean,
Awesome.
yeah, I mean,
So once you start getting those numbers and it gets into the hundreds of thousands and stuff, like instantly do you start getting way more gigs, private gigs? Because, and let's talk about the business of miming. So obviously, the theme parks, they'll hire you third party, or there's a third party company that hires the entertainment anyway. So but that's not a full-time gig. And then you get private gigs from people's birthday parties. And let's talk about those. What's the standard private gig that people hire Tom the Mime for?
I'm in a situation where I'm just doing larger venues now.
Okay,
Nice.
so it's
'Cause
corporate
I think I'm at that point, and
yeah.
I did a gig in California, and I almost didn't take it because I didn't think I was suited for it, but I'm glad I took it because it was just right down my alley. It was a Los Lobos concert, and they wanted me to come in and basically before the concert walk around, do my thing. And it was at a grand opening amphitheater in Tulare.
Why didn't you think you were suited?
I don't know. I guess because the whole concert thing, concert goers maybe, that
Let me tell you
I wouldn't
something.
fit in. But
Let me tell you something. You
it
was
was
good
the-
enough.
it
You was
was the-
smart enough.
it was the best thing I did. I mean, because now I'm concentrating on doing more amphitheater concerts. In fact, they might have me back for Dokken, which
Oh, hell yeah,
I would
dude.
be floored.
I
told
love
him,
Dokken.
I go, I'm a big Dokken fan.
Yeah.
You have me here for Dokken.
Yeah.
Don Dawkins still rips, man.
It makes sense for every big venue if you think about it. While people are filing in to sitting down and stuff, there's
know
a
where
lot
you
of
would fit
downtime.
perfectly?
And then if you're there
Well,
performing,
St.
at-
Augustine Amphitheater, it has your name all over it. The
It
way
does,
that
and-
thing is built.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I was like, why was I thinking I wouldn't be? I mean, everything's perfect. First of all, music, because I feed off of music, dancing, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, though, I'm more of an outside venue guy also.
Yeah.
So the amphitheater is good for that. And
Yeah.
and music and laughter goes together.
It does.
It really does.
It really also, in a lot of these, and I think it, and that's what I meant earlier when I was talking about, I love it when there are entertainers setting the mood before the main entertainment comes on. Not to say that the main entertainment is the best. That's not what it's about. It's about keeping the energy level so high that when you get that main course, you're ready for it. You're set up for it. We've all been to the show where the crowd isn't right and it killed the show.
Yeah.
What your job is, and that's why I think it's so important, is that you are setting the table. Like, you go out there and you're like to usher people in and get them happy about just walking in. That way, when the act goes on, it's all good, back to good vibes.
Good vibes.
It's all back to
I'm
that.
setting the mood.
Yeah,
and,
man.
I had something really cool happen at that concert before Los Lobos. The opening act was Rudy Paris. He won The Voice one year.
Okay, yeah.
And really cool guy. I didn't really talk to him much before he went on. I think he was really nervous still. But after he came out and we're all in the green room, he comes up to me, hugs me, goes, "Man, I had a hard time not laughing. You're doing a couple things while I was singing." And I was like, "Whoa!" I go, "I hope I didn't," because I don't
You don't
try to
distract them.
I know. I try
right.
to. That's the whole entertainment. You don't want to do that to another entertainer. I was like really low key, but I must have did something that kind of got his attention. He's like, "Man, I almost laughed. You know."
Yeah, that's funny,
funny.
man.
So now, Tom, I'm curious to what your process is. So let's say it is a concert, or people are coming to sit down and some sort of venue, right? So you get thrown out there, and now what are you looking for? Like, I'm wondering who are the people you looking for? Like, I know one common bit, if you follow Tom the Mind on social media, is that,
and you should, it's funny,
if someone has a midriff shirt on, you'll pull up your shirt and
that's my signature thing
and show your belly, and it gets a laugh every time.
Always funny.
Well, I used to be like, 10 years ago, you wouldn't catch me doing something like that, because I was embarrassed by my belly. I was embarrassed by my baldness, whatever. But that's one, I got to the point in life, I'm like, you know what? I'm having fun with people. Let me have fun with myself too.
Yeah, self-deprecation.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, confidence.
And I also feel like that it disarms you kind of, and you come off less aggressive if you're making fun of yourself. Or
we root for that.
Then it's like, I'm making fun of myself and everybody around me. I'm making fun of everybody. Yeah. That's what I like to do too. That's how me and Tom.
Yeah, when you point it at yourself first, it is easier than go around the room and have some fun.
Yeah. To answer your question, though, usually.
Was it a good question?
It was okay.
Okay.
No.
I know. We have a contest on the show, and whenever somebody says, that's a good question, they have to put the camera on him, and I was fishing for that. I'm glad you said the right answer.
It's a good question, but what happens now, for the most part, I don't have to go search for somebody. Usually they come to me. I'll walk out there. I'll start off by me just walking funny.
Yeah.
Again, there's music, so I'm playing to some music.
Yeah.
And usually I'll get the people approaching me, and then I'll go off of that. Now, if I see an opportunity, boom. And in fact, we had one. My wife is usually with me, Dina, and she's like my videographer. She kind of, does some stuff. And we had this one situation. It was a amphitheater, so they had like this little midsection. It was all grass, so people were like just laying on, blankets. And there's this one guy, he was laying out, and so I started going up to him, and I started doing the old fake CPR thing. I'm like doing on his stomach, doing that.
That's
so
funny.
then I took a little extra further, and then I started doing like I was going to breathe into his mouth.
Yeah.
And there's this lady standing up. She laughed so hard she fell backwards, and that was like really made the video. Yeah. So if I see an opportunity, I'm going to hit it. But for the most part,
that lady died.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know that.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know
You
that.
killed her with laughter.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like I said, they come up to me. They'll start off with a selfie, and that's the thing too. I get so many selfies now. People come up to for pictures.
Because you're social media famous.
Yeah, and
it's
at first a guy.
And you look unique, which really, it's one thing to be social media famous. I have friends that have hundreds of thousands of followers, but if they walked by you, you'd never know it. You're just like a bot.
Character.
Yeah. So when people see you on the slingshot, they're like, "Wow, that's the guy,"
Yeah. Oh, I get the double takes all the time. And I'll have to tell you, before I leave, I'll tell you some stories. When I'm riding on I-4 dressed like this, I've had some funny moments.
I bet you get some whoop whoops from the juggalos.
I had a cop pull me over one time. I was in towards Kissimmee at a convention. I'm looking in my rearview mirror, red lights go out. I'm like, please, God, I can't believe I'm actually getting pulled over, and I'm in friggin' mime face. I'm looking in the rearview mirror. He gets out, and he's already laughing. I'm like, okay, maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So he approaches me. He's like, dude, he goes, I know who you are. I just pulled you over because I want a selfie with you. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Get to work.
You're like, you're wasting taxpayers' dollars.
No, not the time.
I got to get to.
Not the time.
Just pull
There's a guy flying by 200 miles per hour. No problem. I'm getting a selfie with Tom the Mind.
This is not a crime. You can't just pull me over for a selfie.
What about emergencies or medical emergencies or anything? You ever dealt with any of those?
None of that.
That's good, though. I mean,
I did avoid road rage once, being in mime face.
Really?
I was driving again on I-4. I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and there's this guy. I was going too slow. There's this guy behind me. He's doing the pissed off driver. You're going too slow, and he's giving me the finger. He's yelling, whatever.
Don't do that.
Finally, he had enough. He's puts on the gas. He's going on the left side of me, and I look to the left when he's like right beside me. He looks at me, and all I seen was his face. He goes from furious to like, oh my God, it's a mime. And he just
disarming.
He goes from being pissed off to like smiling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I avoided road rage being a mime.
It's very disarming makeup. It is. Like you look at it, you're like, oh, I like that.
Because I couldn't get pissed off either, not in mime face. I'm like, I'm not going to flip them off as a mime.
It's gonna look dumb for sure. It's not gonna look funny, or will look funny.
So going back to like being a social media influencer, because now that's like a part of your job, you know,
Yep.
like, and so you're
And then like all the fake products come out of the woodwork for you, right?
I get all kinds of opportunities. You know, right now I'm just trying to stay up with the workload. Now it's becoming a business.
People don't understand that.
Oh, you know, I get people. Oh, this must be fun. You just do this and have fun. Yeah, it's fun, but it's a business now.
Yeah,
It's-
the business part of it, you have to put in a lot of work behind the scenes to make the business part of it work.
Right.
And so like with that, you mentioned that like you get a lot of podcast invitations, and there are a lot of scams. And I never heard of this.
Oh yeah.
Like, so what's the scam they offer to pay
Evidently,
you?
I did a little research on this, and I guess the scam part of it is they try to convince you that the podcast is through your Facebook account. So at one point, they're going to try to ask for your information to get into your administration Facebook. Once they have that, you're dead. They can go on these marketplaces and sell your Facebook for. If you're getting millions of followers like I
Then
do,
it's super
that's
valuable.
big money.
Gotcha. So it only happens. That's why I've never heard of it, because it happens to people with gigantic followings,
super
and we don't know.
followings.
You know, we didn't even understand.
Yeah,
So
because if you
you're getting a
only have
different
like 10
scam.
followers, they're like going, no, that's not going to give me
It's not
anything."
valuable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Any famous people interacted with you on social media?
Yeah. See, I've met some really cool social media influencers.
Yeah.
do they want to do collaborations?
Collaborations,
Because
yeah.
that's a
That's
big
starting
thing.
to come in. That's
Okay.
yeah. There's one single mom saga.
Yes.
You might have seen her. She's really cool. She's again another person. It's just all good vibes. She does some
Yeah.
really funny stuff on her channel, and she ran across me, and she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And I've always followed you, this and that, and so we might collaborate.
It's cool to see you doing like the newer form of like, I guess, social media business networking.
Yeah, with
something
their
that we
own
should be
form.
doing that we too stuck in our ways. I am a dumb old man.
I would love to collaborate with Polaris, man. For someone from Polaris, slingshot maker,
Yeah.
You
I
know,
can
I
write
got
the commercial right now and film it.
give me a call.
It's
you
a
know?
silent commercial,
I
right?
know
Until the
some
very
people-
end, and you have one word to
Yeah.
say. That's the thing. I don't know what the one word is yet, because that's going to be
Yeah.
our honey hole for
Well,
the commercial.
I have all these thoughts. I would love to start doing commercial work. You know,
Yeah.
what's the mayhem guy? You know, maybe do a segment with
Yeah.
with him, My Mayhem or something.
My mayhem. I love it. I love it.
You know what? It's interesting because like big companies, like obviously they started partnering with social media influencers and everything, you know, but they still at the point where they're like standoffish a little bit because they can't own you.
Right.
Because you're your own entity. And so the fact that they can't own you, they don't know what to do with that. They're like,
Well, they need to lock you down.
yeah, they want to lock you down.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
we were familiar with this, where it's like they unless they lock you down, they're like we can't just work with them in a you win, I
In
win,
a
so
cohesive manner, because
manner.
we need to take all the money
Yeah,
from them.
we need everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's harder for giant, although it's changing a little bit, and we're seeing that where like big companies like, oh, screw it, I'll just partner with Pat McAfee and we could work something out, and then it does work out sometimes.
Yeah.
But so like going back to like the influencer arena and stuff, where do you find that posting, is it all like, because so I talked to some influencers who are like, okay, these are the clips that get the most views, right?
Right.
But then you start like, I don't want to pigeonhole myself into just only this,
Right,
even
right.
though it does get the most views. And then so you're like, I want it to broaden it a little bit.
Well, that's
Yeah.
exactly where I'm at right now. I'm experimenting with different types of content. Like the obvious one is my shows at SeaWorld. That gets all the views.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
There's also other things I'm doing, talking about I-4 on the road. A lot of times, sometimes I'll put my makeup on when I go to SeaWorld. I'll do something on the road. I'll do a little content on the road while I'm driving, safe, of course. I got my cell phone on a mount,
Yeah,
and I'll lip sync to a song, and I call that driving with Tom the Mime. And it sometimes is just, I'll do a little headbanging thing 'cause I'm a heavy metal guy,
Okay.
and that gets some good views. But so I'm trying to roll in different things. I'm starting to also contact some of these local companies and try to work out some deals where I can just go in their establishment, and it's giving them a little something. And especially if I post it on my account, and it's giving me some views. So I'm starting to do that because I don't want to get just known for just doing this or that.
At the theme parks, you
Diversify.
you diversify. You do stuff.
And it's not all about the comedy too. It's me and my wife were thinking about starting kind of like a Tom the Mime Foundation thing. This is something I'm really wanting to do, like a toy run every year.
Do something nice, like a
for
charity
kids.
thing. Oh yeah.
I mean, so it's not
Well, let
all
us know.
about.
We'd love to help you out with that, man.
It's
if you ever do
not.
something
It's
with
not all about the comedy stuff.
Yeah.
A big portion of it is, but man, I've learned so much. It's taken a different route the last 5 years. It's the emails I get would just blow you away. Sometimes I've had
People pour their hearts out to you.
I
won't
saw
they?
you
gosh,
share one
and
on
I'm
social
pretty
media.
sure most of it's legit. I mean,
Yeah.
some people might
get that too.
kind of be a little extra dramatic maybe, but a lot of it's really legit. I've had some people that are going through some rough times or going through cancer, which really hits home with me because I went through cancer.
Okay.
I've even had a couple people with depression, which also hits home with me. And I had even one person was suicidal, and he said he got to the point where he was about ready to give up, but he started like looking at my videos every day.
When
Up
you
on my
showed
feed.
your belly,
Yeah. When you showed that belly, I knew
I wanted to live again.
You know what? I was ready to leave, but you bullied that lazy dad so good. You know what's funny
I
is
took
that
the gun out of my
all
mouth.
jokes aside, you have such a massive reach. Sometimes it is easier to reach out to that stranger that does make you laugh. You're sitting there, you're at your lowest point, and you fire off an email to Tom the Mime. Totally believable to me.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
is legit because like that.
One video, you're just like, oh, that, and then
Yeah.
that, changed.
And it's
my
cool that you would take the
mood.
time to read it or write back. Or
that's a tough thing because I get so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you're inundated.
And it's I was one of these. I'd like look at someone's account and I'm like, how come they don't respond to everybody? But now I get it. You can't. It's almost impossible to respond to everybody through emails and comments because there's so many I get every day. But I try my best to try to get through every one of them.
Are you the
Because I don't know, there might be that one particular comment or email that really hits home with me that I really need to respond back to them.
Yeah.
Are you the biggest social media influencer mime?
Oh, probably.
Okay.
Except for the one guy in Europe. I wish I could remember his name, but
He's another one, yeah.
Yeah, but
in the United States.
in the United
Whistler.
States,
Yeah.
You're our mime.
Because have you been have other mimes reached out to you? I'm sure because of your
They don't
follow-
talk, Tom.
They're following. We're gonna have other people that want to do the same thing. Like
yeah, I've had those. I've had people like, hey, this is something I want to do. How do I get started? Type of thing. Or
Never help those people. They'll try to take your take your crown.
job.
Don't let them take your crown. Have you ever? Do you belong to a mime organization at all, or is there one?
No, but they're. I mean, they actually have. They don't have mime schools, but they actually have a clown college. People go to a clown college
Steve
to become clown. And
Sarasota.
and
if
there's
you
a
have-
lot of crossover, right?
Yeah, if you're a clown, then you got some. You can kind of get into the whole mime thing. It's a little different, but if you got the clown background, you're like halfway there.
See, it's funny. My dad always told me mimes were just biker clowns.
Yeah.
Turned out he was right.
Yeah.
Turned out he was right.
Well, when I was a little kid in school, I even had one teacher was like, "Oh, you're going to grow up to be a clown," and she was pretty close.
Close. Yeah. Very, very similar.
So speaking of that, like, what makes it mime and what makes it clown? Like, what's the difference, really?
Are you trying to ask the Venn diagram question? All mimes are clowns, or all clowns are mimes?
Yeah, because we do have a stereotypical mime, what mime should do in our head, and I feel like it is the rope, it is the box, it is like the fake stairs. I like the elevator or the stairs down.
Yeah.
Well, there's a word that I've used in other other, we've used, it's called clowny, being a little bit too clowny.
Okay.
Or too animated. Usually your clowns come across really more animated.
Over the top. Okay.
Yeah, over the top type of animation, and that's kind of more of a clown.
And mimes are more subtle.
Little subtle, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And more like a serious. Like he's like you're not,
Hi!
yeah.
You're more like, hello.
And I would even say the mime depends a lot more on his expressions also, really heavy on the expressions.
Gotcha.
Do you practice in a mirror or on your wife or anything? And like, look at this expression. Like, this is angry.
No, she would just shake her head going, dude, stop it.
So a lot of this is what I'm hearing. A lot of this comes naturally to you. This is just you. That's
I've
cool.
always I'm a sarcastic guy. I like to have fun. And I love, you got to be a people person. If you're not a people person, do not get in this business. Or then that goes as an entertainer, even you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are people. You
gotta love humans, man.
You got to.
What's interesting is I haven't seen other parks do this, which you'd think they would just based on the popularity of you and social media. You think
do the math.
You think the other parks would be like, oh, we need our own mimes here. Let's put them in everywhere.
you're taking my question.
I've often wondered that too. I mean, the SeaWorld mimes have been around for, probably since the 70s.
Yeah.
And even before my popularity, the mimes have always been popular at SeaWorld. If you've been to SeaWorld and you've seen the mimes, you know who it's always been a big part of SeaWorld. But yeah, I've often wondered why.
Weird, right?
What do you mean, like a copycat? Like where somebody saw, like, look what they're doing down the road. We need one of these guys. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's weird that the other parks don't do it because
everything else you can kind of see comparable thing. Like they have this where we have this. Yeah.
It's like the NFL. You just, one team does something, you steal what they're doing.
Tush
It's
push.
like,
Yeah,
it's like everything.
You know what that is? Like, now watch. It's going to happen like this year.
Yeah.
We're starting to see an outcropping.
Thanks, Tom and Dan. Appreciate it.
Great job, guys.
And also, Tom, you've got to be one of very few full-time mimes in the United States,
This is
right?
your career.
Yeah,
Have you talked to other ones that are like full-time job?
No, like I said, because once you start taking off, it becomes something entirely.
This might be
So
our
most
weirdest
people are
job.
part-time, right?
This is our
Yeah.
weirdest job, dude.
Yeah,
This is
well,
it.
I know, like at SeaWorld and stuff, those guys, most of them have other gigs at Disney, Universal,
Yeah.
Other places like that. Back in the day, we used to be full-time there, but now we're not. But like I said, with me, I do my 2 days, Thursdays and Fridays there, and all the other stuff is working for my content. And going back to the whole content thing, once you start getting a lot of followers, then they become very curious about your personal life. And I try to not to put too much out there, but they want to know, where I live.
Yeah.
And I'm even starting to do stuff outside my makeup.
I saw that on social media where you were just talking in your car.
I mean, they want to know everything about me, and if it gets views and if it's not too personal, I'm okay with it. My dogs are even becoming a big part of me because me and my wife, we have 5 golden retrievers.
Oh, wow.
In fact, we're thinking about starting up something for them because it's like
paint their face white.
Oh my God! You're so
You gotta
awesome.
do it here.
Oh my God.
Shave their face, paint it white.
mime
Mime
dog,
dogs.
yeah.
That'll get views.
yeah.
That's a movie too. Mime dog.
mime dogs.
Yeah, I would
Rated
watch
R.
that. Yeah.
We need to do some business, Tom. I'm a Tom. You're a Tom.
Bingo, I told you not to bark. Mimes are silent.
That's my dog voice.
I'm
I'm
not
hoping to be cast in your movie.
Yeah, I'm not a people person. I hate people. I'll just make fun of me.
Hey, thank you so much for coming in, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. This
super
has been
duper
awesome.
Thank
fun.
you for the invite,
This has
man.
been one of my favorite, and I think this is one of the weirdest.
Yeah.
Because he's a one of one. I don't know of any other.
This is maybe the most unique, weird job we've ever had.
Florida mime.
After 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with the weirdness. Weirdness to me is a compliment.
Oh, it's beauty.
Weirdness, unique, all that stuff is great.
It's cool
So-
to see what you built. And
congratulations,
and also to
man.
meet you finally, because I have seen you many times on
Many
social
times.
media. And it's cool that you're here, man.
Yeah.
I
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
Thank you so much for the invite.
And-
We'll see
and
you
again-
at the BDM party. We're gonna have to get Tracy on that. Yeah, I want to work with you, man. That'd be fun.
Let's do it.
That'd be super
I'm
fun.
all
all
I'm
social
open.
media, it's at Tom the Mime.
Yep.
So, and you probably already know it's on there, and you can follow him. So thank you, Tom.
Yeah, I always tell people, go to my website, tomthemime.com, or Google me, because if you go to Facebook and try to search for me, unfortunately, you're going to pull up a lot of what I call fake accounts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
so go to my website or go just Google me.
Yeah,
There you go.
Tom
And
the
you'll
Mime.
find me.
Awesome.
On the mime. There you go.
All right, we will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Perfect, man. And we're
Awesome.
done. Is that we're coming back, right?
We got just another 2 small segments.
Yep. Scene change, and I'll put some music on for us, fellas.
7-minute. Tuesday 2 and Tuesday 4.
What's that?
We just need to do a Tuesday 2 and a Tuesday 4.
Oh, yes. Gotcha.
And then we're back on.
Do we know our times?
Yeah, Tuesday 2 is 20 and Tuesday 4 is 7, I believe, or 7 or 8.
Yep, 7. You're right. All right. You want to do the big one?
Yeah, let's do 20, and then we'll what is it?
Hold on, let me see what I wrote in my phone. I might have wrote something in my phone. No, we used it. Running out of shit.
Well, we did a lot of content. Oh,
Tracy's son stood up at surf camp. Congratulations, that's fantastic. I wish I was at surf camp.
Well, let's just start with maybe an email.
I can do that.
That'll.
Oh, I had one on top. Bring us back. Here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do an email.
All right. This one's kind of funny because I have a weird answer for this one. Dan and Tom, when was the last time you carried someone on your shoulders? I never have.
You've never carried someone on your shoulder?
Look at me, Tom.
Well, your daughter. I mean, there's.
I have never. No.
Even now, you've never.
When
put her
my
on your
daughter
shoulder?
was young, I never put her on my shoulders.
Like she sat on
No.
the. Really?
No. She crawled all over me. We've wrestled. We've kicked each other. We'll.
Just at like an event or something?
No.
Like,
No. Because it really doesn't do much than just make her the height of Andrea.
Yeah.
So I put her on Andrea's shoulders every single time I've done. Honestly, I'm just being honest with you guys. It doesn't affect me one way. I don't care. But I have put her on Andrea's shoulders. I'm not going to put her on my shoulders because then she's just like, what, an inch shorter than my wife. That doesn't really help her at Disney World when she's trying to watch the not so scary Halloween parade or whatever it is.
What about the good old-fashioned chicken fight?
I used to love chicken fights. I knew you were going to bring that up, and that's why we are in business together. Chicken fights in the pool made me horny.
Yeah.
Because it was always the girls on boys' shoulders. Number one, that makes me horny. Number two, they kick each other's tops off.
Yeah. I've had, a couple different girls, including my wife, on my shoulders before.
You got to have what they call
90s
that?
chicken fight.
You know what you call that? Beaver neck. Moving on. When was, ever put your girlfriend or child on your shoulders at a parade or music event? That's what he asked. Now, if you excuse me, I got to go do some music fest exercises. I don't know what that means. Music fest exercises.
I've walked with my sons on my shoulders when they were younger. Well, like if we're at like a theme park or we're like hiking in Colorado or any place where they got tired and they were like younger. Like now, obviously, in the past few years, I was just like, you're walking. I'm not carrying you like a baby. But when they were closer to babies, I would carry them on my shoulders, and it would become excruciating. After, like, let's say an hour of hiking or whatever, like having even a toddler on your shoulders.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Like they go
limp. They go dead weight. They need to hold on and take a little bit of the brunt.
Yeah, even at 30 pounds, like after a certain amount of time, like but I remember like being so miserable, but never wanting to say I can't hold you anymore because I didn't want them to have the memory of their dad being weak.
Okay,
And,
that makes you
like,
crazy. But, yeah.
Like I didn't want them to ever remember like my dad could only carry me for an hour, and then
they would only remember that if that mattered to them.
Yeah, right. But it mattered to me,
right.
Even thinking that they couldn't remember.
I don't think it
so
matters to them. Like I've seen you compete,
drilled through it.
I've seen you do some pretty impressive feats of strength the last couple of years, and I don't think your boys care about it.
I have indoctrinated them into thinking that I am strong and buff.
Okay.
Now, and that I only like hard work.
Okay. And how does that help them?
No, just for me,
okay.
my legacy. that's how they'll remember me
yeah,
growing up. And then if I ever die,
Now,
like
when
he liked work.
Now, when those of us that have known you longer say that was just the last couple of years, what is that going to do to them? We're like, oh, the other
They
40.
won't believe it.
Other 40, he was just lazy. He was a sun-kissed.
I also told them one day other people will lie to you about that I used to be weak, but don't let. That's what they'll say.
All right. You've covered all your bases. I got to hand it to you.
yeah.
I like that. You've covered all your bases. Tom and Dan and Show. Have you ever known anyone that has zero fashion sense? Have you ever tried to help them? Why are tube socks fashionable?
I have zero fashion sense. Like I never
zero. I don't think you have zero.
Well, I can mimic what's, I'm not going to just I put on this tutu. But
you wouldn't do that anyway. You know that, but you know that that's
no,
not
that's
good.
what I'm saying. There's pants, there's men's pants and
Great.
a
You
shirt.
get step one, pants.
Yeah, it's
What's step two? Give me step two.
But I don't know colors. I'll put.
You can't say that anymore. How many times do I have to say
but
that?
I don't know what colors go together. I'll put shorts on in a t-shirt.
If you have on.
I I shouldn't wear a beige shirt and beige shorts. It looks weird.
Correct.
The same color. I know, but sometimes
if your belt is brown, what color are your shoes?
Brown.
There
I know.
you see, you're not.
Okay.
I'm trying to prove the point that you're not zero.
Yeah. I know the basics, but I'll come out of my room and Crystal's like, "You're wearing that," and I will see nothing wrong with it. And I feel like most people wouldn't be like, "Oh, this guy," it would just be like,
"Is she being? What'd you do that pissed her off?" Maybe she's just being mean to you.
She'll say that doesn't go to, especially at events. If we have an event or we have to be on stage, she'll tell me this doesn't go together, and
what
I'll
are
have
you
no
trying
idea.
to do? What are you walking? I'd have to see what some of these concoctions are of your
It's
outfit.
not even the matter. It's not I'm wearing just a button-down shirt and
she
jeans.
just doesn't like it.
And no, she's these colors.
Are you sure she's not just doing the new manager where she's got to change something just to power you, to feel like she's got power over you?
I think so,
Okay.
because I'm like, I don't see any problem with this. And she's like, you look foolish. It doesn't look good.
You have a jester hat
no,
on.
No, that's the thing.
and
It's just it's
some Yeezys.
It just looks
parachute pants.
No, I'm telling you, it's just a button-down dad shirt and jeans, but the colors.
Don't know. Maybe she's trying to gaslight you, bully you a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
You got good fashion sense.
I do, but I don't execute it at all anymore. I'm very lazy now that I've gotten older.
Yeah, but if you were going to dress up and specifically for something, what looks good together. You have an artist eye.
But I don't buy clothing anymore.
You know what looks good.
I'm lazy now. The hermitness of my life has taken control of me since even before the pandemic. It started before the pandemic with me, hermiting. And
we always used to say you'll one time be
a hermit,
an old man that never leaves his house.
Yeah, you're right. And
the Sandlot.
But I need to be able to get out. I need to go back to my fashionable ways. I need to buy more fashionable clothing. I need to update some of my shorts and some of my pants. I need to go through all of my drawers and throw out all my. I'm just being honest. All my underwear is old with holes all in it. Maisie makes fun of it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
My priorities have shifted to more Maisie. I don't really care about my fashion. If I have a choice between me ordering some new pants for myself, I'd rather get her something or get her some skincare or I don't know.
You got the money to order pants that you're not destined to.
I forget about it. I know. You're not wrong.
Well, also,
I don't seem to care as much anymore, and it's a natural disconnect. It's not I like fashion. Like when you came to the Monsters and we started working together, I would buy all kinds of I would go on shopping sprees with Andrea, and we'd go out and we'd specifically go to nice places, and I'd shop for nice clothes. I don't do any of that anymore. None of it.
Well,
none of it.
If you never leave the Shire,
Can't leave it.
You don't wax your feet.
I'll never wax my feet.
I'm just saying.
I knew what you were saying. I knew exactly what you were saying.
I'm just saying, there's no reason for you to buy new clothes if you're, the hermit.
Okay, this is an interesting one. It's a little bit long, but I think it's super interesting. Hey, Dan, you were saying recently that you wish you had a female longtime listener. Hi, that's me. I've been listening since you were on the Drew Garabo show when I was a teenager. I'm 44 now. Sorry that I'm not the hot young 20-something chick that you were hoping for. I will say that it has been a consistent listen. We used to spend summers in Orlando when I was in high school, and that's when I started listening to 104.1 in the car with my parents. I can clearly remember a Drew show when we were all laughing over a prank call that I think was Drew calling a restaurant as a guy with a tracheotomy tube. Yeah, Drew and I used to do trach calls where when the way you do it, I can do it with this microphone. It's very insensitive to people that have a tracheotomy or I don't know, after they do those truth commercials.
How'd you get beyond you're supposed to let them know they're on the radio?
We didn't care.
Okay,
Yeah.
And that turns out
that's when
it doesn't matter. No one's ever.
When my I don't care started, really.
Yeah.
We would, I think I could say this.
But
now.
management of the radio station, they didn't tell you like, hey, you can't just have random people on the radio live and not tell them.
It's interesting we're talking about this because
No
I don't
one
think I've
listened.
ever told this story. We would do prank phone calls, and the rule is, I believe the official FCC rule from the government is that, at least in Florida, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but when you have
In Florida,
it's a two-party.
Two-party.
Is it a two-party?
Has to know. There are other states, only one party
Yeah.
needs to know that you're being recorded.
And I think there's one state that's nobody cares.
No,
I think there's one state where it's just like a zero party.
I think recording someone without anybody know, like you need a police, like a judge, a subpoena.
That's called the
or
LBJ. That's
yeah,
the Lyndon
a
Johnson.
warrant. You need a warrant to do that. Like only police can do it. I don't think.
Yeah, we're two-party in Florida, the chat room
Yeah.
said. So we would call how we thought we were getting around it. And I don't believe that this is true, but at least in radio, you do a lot of things and you pretend like we're just like politicians. We pretend like we're solving the problem.
yeah,
But all we're doing is executing something to make you think we're doing something, but we're really doing nothing to do. Okay, we're doing nothing. We're politicians.
Yeah.
So Drew and I would call. This is the infancy of the internet. I would download phone books because you didn't have you couldn't just rapid fire search people. It wasn't that easy. It was easy, but not as easy as it is now.
Yeah.
And I would download phone books, and then I would find Chinese restaurants. I would find shopping malls. I would find places for us to call in other states. So we'd call other states thinking, well, if we're calling San Antonio to do a Chinese restaurant prank phone call,
there's no way
that San Antonio restaurant is going to
ever know
that it was
Florida.
ever broadcast on a Florida talk radio station.
Yeah,
there are so few talk radio stations. They're just going to assume. This is me. I'm telling you really how we thought about it. I kind of thought, my rationale of it was, well, they're just going to think it's kids making prank phone calls from another state. It's not even going to matter. Plus, we're doing a tracheotomy call. We'd do this. Let me see if I can pop this off. I would take the microphone, and you would put it right on your neck like this. The person called, they go, hello, and you'd be like, hello, and you would do like that. You'd do like you have a tracheotomy. And I think we got the idea from South Park because it was all starting at that time, right? It was just dumb, vulgar humor.
Yeah.
And we would call places with a tracheotomy, and then we would explain to the person that we had a tracheotomy, and then just see how long we could keep them on the line. And this is radio, folks.
It was the late 90s, the height of prank calls, too.
Yeah, it was. She continues. She goes, then I went to Flagler College, and I would listen to 104.1 when I was in Orlando for the summers. I believe it was Monsters of the Midday then, but I think you were still on with Drew Show at night. I feel like I listened when I was driving home from working the dinner shift at a Disney Resort hotel. After college, I was in Jacksonville and then lived in Tennessee for a bit, and that was my real radio Dan dry spell. My husband and I moved to Orlando in 2011, and pretty much the first thing I did was tune in the car to 104.1. Love Jim Phillips and his crew. The Monsters are okay, but I think that was the first time I realized that you were on the Monsters, and it was good to hear you again. We eventually bought a house in Audubon Park and loved living in that area, though be careful if you try to bike through Baldwin Park. Those a-holes will honk and try to run you off the road. That's true. We moved to Dallas around 2019 and have been here ever since. I love listening to Tom and Dan now because there's so much I miss about Orlando and the neighborhood that we used to live in. It was super nostalgic for me to hear you guys talking about all of that. Anyway, just wanted to chime in as one of your female listeners that grew up listening to you. Thank you so much for the hard work you guys do, Bethany. Thank you, Bethany. That's very kind of you.
That is a thing that we have seen in our listenership that it totally makes sense because I'm kind of like this. Where if you started listening to us when you are around, let's say in your dad's car or your parents' car or your mom's car or whatever, And
that kind of makes me a Willie Nelson of Central Florida Talk Radio, right? That's kind of cool when you think about it like that.
That's how I started listening to Howard Stern. My mom listened to Howard Stern, and I just listened because she listened. So when we were in the car on the way to school, she would listen to Howard Stern, and that kind of got me into talk radio.
Yeah,
so
same here.
So I preferred talk radio over music.
100%.
And
my dad loved Stern. My dad loved Ron and Ron, but he was mainly a Real Radio guy. The reason I had the internship at Real Radio is my dad.
And so we have a lot of listeners that grew up listening that way, and then now listen for some weird nostalgia too. Like that is encompassing into why they listen, where they're just drawn to it because it takes them back to a comfort level of when they were younger. It's a weird thing. And I was like, and those are the best listeners, I feel, because it's beyond what we even do. Like, we don't even have to be funny. We just listen to us because our voices are somehow nostalgic to them, and it makes them comfortable.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
They stopped listening a long time ago.
Let's go with this one right here. Dan and Tom, a few nights ago, I took some toasted garlic bread out of the oven on a baking sheet one-handed. My grip was flimsy, and the baking sheet tilted into my elbow joint and left an isosceles triangle burn mark. I do currently still have the burn mark. What is it shaped like?
Or they're trying to give us some test?
I don't know.
Isosceles?
What I will say is, I don't know, you try to do some math tests. I'm not a nerd.
Everything's a triangle.
Here's, that's what I say. Hey, it's all triangle. It's all pink in the middle. That's what I say. You know, one thing that still bothers me, and I want to know the remedy to this, because it is a pet peeve of mine, and I think a lot of people have this pet peeve, and I know why it happens, but I want to know how to stop it. When I lay tater tots out on a pan, and then I put the pan in the oven, and after it's preheated, I don't like it when the pan will then, and it'll like the temperature change will force it to like bend, and then all my tater tots, the perfect order I had my tater tots in, they all go in all different directions, and then some of them clump up, and I don't like that. I keep all of my tater tots with a perfect amount of air around them so they crisp, because if you don't have a perfect amount of air around each tot, they will not crisp.
Oh, you get an old tray that's already been compromised, like the
I told you, I'm not spending money. It's cheapo in my house. Maybe that's why I don't buy any clothes or any old pants.
Like the implosion sub.
I think the chat room's right. I need a stronger baking sheet.
Yeah.
It's those cheap-ass baking sheets.
You got some Temu baking sheet.
Well, what do you think my wife bought? You know my wife bought a spatula for pancakes? What do you think she spent on the spatula? And she was super proud of this. I love sharing these stories with you. My wife bought it.
Know what it
We've
costs.
been searching for the perfect spatula in the Dennis household because my wife makes Maddie Matheson pancakes. I've talked about these on the show before.
All right.
If you want the recipe, you can Google it, but it's the best pancake recipe on the internet. They're fantastic. The key is to whip your egg whites like meringue, and that's how you make the best pancakes. Truly.
Okay.
And so my wife's been looking for a spatula for these pancakes because Maisie loves them. She had this blue spatula that she loved, and we had it for years. And then one day it snapped. And that, you know, we all have that one utensil that you love, and then something happens to it and you can never find another one. So we've been searching for one. We found one that looks identical, and we got it at Walmart. What do you think? My wife, she went dancing down the aisle. She was so happy. What do you think she spent for the spatula?
I have literally no idea what a spatula
Take a
costs.
guess. Take a guess and make it gross.
I don't. It's, $3.
79 cents.
Okay, all right.
70. It's disgusting to buy. She's now cooking pancakes with a spatula that costs less than $1. Can't be good. It's got all the cancer inside of it, right? All the cancer.
Oh, the cancer. Every spatch is getting
Chat
cancer
room gets
on it.
$3.99 too. No, 79 cents.
Going back to recording someone without their knowledge.
Yes.
Who would you even... Okay, say a radio station we call you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we actually do this. We call you, we get you on the line, we're airing it, we're recording it, and then we do our prank call, trick you out of it.
You are a pedophile.
and then we hang up, we put that on the terrestrial radio and our podcast.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get your permission, we just put it on there.
We just put it on there.
And
we'd have this question for Mo.
Yeah. And then what's their recourse?
Okay, so I believe that they would have to get a copy of the infraction of them recording you without it, and then they would take that
Because
recording.
I don't think it's an FCC violation. It's a Florida. It's a
but
law.
You'd want to have a. Well, then I guess you'd
proof of it.
You'd go to the cops and say I was recorded without my knowledge,
But
and they're gonna laugh in your face.
I don't think that. Yeah, they're gonna be like, I think then you can only like personally sue them, but there has to be damages. So if you didn't like, I guess, say anything bad about them personally, or like, how would they ever? If you never even said their name and it was just their voice, how could they ever prove that it at all caused any damages to their own life?
I think it is illegal.
Like
but
defamation.
There's no way they can enforce it.
Yeah,
That's what it is, right?
So, right?
It's kind of what it is.
So then it's a nothing. It has to be nothing. Unless it I think this is for the law is for bigger. It's actually for like police officers, so that to keep
Well, I mean, it
people's
should have
rights.
been for Mel Gibson, right? Like that's who it should have been for, because when she was recording him, all those secret recordings of him.
Yeah. Well, that's you could say that defamed me and caused lots of damages, like to my career.
Yeah, but,
you know what I'm saying?
was the argument there? Was the argument there? Well, this is the real you, so that we're not.
Yeah, but still, I didn't know I was being recorded. So,
Yeah.
and I think that was done in only one person.
I think it was a
like I
one-person
think
state.
California.
California's
They had to go to Nevada to film Crank Anchors. I remember
Yeah,
hearing Corolla.
yeah.
Like Corolla, like the Crank Anchors production had to actually do it in Nevada because Nevada is only a one-person recording.
I'm gonna ask
state.
ChatGPT about that.
Even though I've never heard of anybody getting like criminally prosecuted for recording someone or even being sued, I think it's to protect you from the cops. Like if the cops can't record you without your knowledge and then use it against you in a court case.
But I think they do.
Well, no, they can't because that's illegal.
No, but I still believe that they do, right? Like I think everybody believes that.
Well, then if you played the recording to the jury, your lawyer would be like, the client wasn't aware he was being recorded, so this can't be admissible to court. I think it's more of that thing, like to protect the person in court case.
There are exceptions that can allow such recordings in court, especially in cases involving domestic violence.
Oh yeah, see the wife that's getting beaten up, and then she's
They were made
recording it.
secretly. California law, that's not allowed unless both parties consent. Courts may allow such recordings if used to document domestic violence or threats.
So it's only for use in a courtroom for evidence of something.
But we got it. It's awesome. So go Google Mel Gibson.
But it's funny how much we're telling everybody, like, oh, you can't record someone without their knowledge when it never mattered.
But we have a lot of laws like that. And if you go around yelling all of them, then it's just going to be wild out there. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of the glue that holds this together is the idea that these laws that they will do nothing about. Yeah. They will. A lot of it is imaginary glue holding it all together. It is.
I want to bring up the imaginary glue. Also, I was going to talk to Jimmy about this today. There was a time.
Oh, yeah, he forgot to come in.
There was a time.
Forgot about that.
Where people were nervous about having cash poker games at their house.
Jimmy was.
Even telling it, like broadcasting on the radio.
Or what about talking about smoking weed on the radio or doing drugs on the radio?
Yeah. But weed was a bigger deal back in the day. You know,
it was, but I got to tell you, man, I never thought that going on the radio and saying, like, I was just downstairs smoking weed, that then somebody was going to, like, drive up and gun you down or, like, you know what I mean? I never thought that.
The only instance where cops were ever involved in the radio was the News Junkie and the Piranhas, right?
I don't like to talk about
that. We're not supposed
to talk about that.
Also, I think
there's a bunch of other ones that I know, but I can't say any of them. There's one on the tip of my tongue, but you told me at the beginning.
You can say anything.
No, you don't want me to say this one.
I'm not beholden to anybody.
I'm pretty sure there was a higher up that we worked with that at a venue here in town during a parking deal, they found marijuana. And this person was, I'll tell you off the air. Yeah. I'm making myself uncomfortable.
Who found the marijuana? The
security.
Okay.
Yeah, security at the time. And it was not who you thought. It's not who you think. It wasn't one of the DJs. It was
no one cares.
It was a person at the time they did.
Yeah, but at the time, different time. I understand that.
Yeah, it was a different time.
But the poker thing, the cash game, like having a cash poker game, like no one ever got the cops kicked down their door for
well, not that one because it wasn't big money. You're not doing $100,000 in poker game. You're doing
like big like people doing poker rooms illegal and like running.
Oh, we just had that one recently.
An insane amount of money.
That cop is
gambling
still in jail.
ring.
That cop's still in jail.
But they're doing $100,000 a week in gambling.
They were doing $1 million. They did $11 million.
Yeah. I mean that becomes into tax fraud and stuff like
that. That cop supposedly he almost like $900,000 he was getting on the take.
You're having a home dad poker game with money. Nobody cares at all.
There's $70 in the room.
I mean, even if there was 500 or 1,000, no one cares. You know what I'm saying? Like it's zero. But people were afraid to the point where they're like, let's use pennies, but no, they're dollars. People used to actually be worried that cops were going to be involved. Anyway, all right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more corporate time.
All right. And then one little guy.
Yeah, this is 7 minutes.
I'm in talking mode. I've hit my talking mode now. I'm like, I could go all day now.
I'm hungry. I need lunch.
That is Tuesday number 2. It was CK in his Mercedes, old Campmeyer at House of Blues. That's a great story. That's when Drew still worked at the station. Because he's the one that saw it. We were doing the Christmas Carol. God, I've been working there a long time. A gross long time.
Yeah, well, you haven't been for 12, 13 years now?
Well, I mean, I still kind of count being on the station, though. Like being on the radio. I still count it.
But it's like, it doesn't. You're so far removed that...
I mean, I say that, and then Tom the Mime says I listen to you every night. So I'm like, oh, okay.
No, we're on there, but it's like we never have any... like, literally...
None of the shows talk to each other anymore. Like,
I haven't...
There's nobody up there.
Well, no, but I haven't talked to someone. The first time I talked to Jack had been like 6 months.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I have zero contact.
Yeah,
we
we're
both
totally
have
disconnected.
Zero contact with anybody who works at iHeart.
I just do our show.
As far as management,
we're like a syndicated show.
So it's like, and we don't even do business with them. So it's like there's zero. Like it's almost like I don't ever think that I work anywhere even adjacent with them because I have no business relationship with them.
Yeah, I still think of us being on the radio, though. That's all I'm saying. I don't think of like it being
on
part of my life.
Being on the same radio station for that long
is weird.
All
right, 7 minutes. You want to do like one voicemail?
Yeah. All
right.
But you know what's funny is that I was going to tell Jimmy this when he came in. I turned on when I was at Max's breakdancing. I was in my truck and I was like, what are we going to talk to Jimmy about? We're going to do the BDM show today.
Oh, right on, yeah.
And then I was listening to a show and Crystal called me and I reached up to push pause.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, weird. Like my first, push pause. And then I was like, no, pause. And I'm like, that is weird.
But see, I can because I listen on TuneIn.
So you listen to the digital version.
Yeah, and so I can pause it. But it's still live. So, I mean, there like, if you wanted to hybrid it, like you were saying earlier, you can, you know. Like,
no, I know, like, even when I'm on.
Because I don't like the commercials. Because on TuneIn, I can just pop to my music, and I know exactly how long it's going to be, and I'll pop right back.
On when you're watching Hulu or whatever, YouTube, you're watching regular, streaming, you push pause, but it is live, per se, anyway. It's just listening to terrestrial radio and not being able to push pause is now become a weird thing.
It's a hindrance, yeah. All right, I'll bring us back. 7 minutes. Here we go. And 3, 2. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. How about a voicemail?
All right.
I think we have time for one or two. Let's see what we got here. Let's go with this one, right? I'm going to go with this one.
So I saw all the drama on the BDM Facebook page about TJ Miller, and just now I'm listening to the interview. I don't understand what the fuck all the controversy is about. It was a great interview. TJ seems cool as fuck. Who cares what allegedly happened 25 years ago? Who the fuck cares? It's certainly not your job to police that stuff, guys. Great job, great interview. TJ seems awesome. You guys are fucking awesome. Fuck Gary and his little bitch.
Okay, all right, okay.
I like when Daniel starts trying to write down times, and you're like, "Oh, this whole thing."
Yeah,
this whole thing is ruined.
I'll handle it all. Yeah. I'll handle it all.
And to answer your question, is some people do care.
Yeah,
and that's what the society we live in.
Yeah, I mean, some people do.
Yeah, if you ask me, I don't care about anything.
Yeah,
and people think that's weird. So, so there's a spectrum of caring.
Yeah,
and so you're gonna fall onto it, and
we try to be available for a bit of it, you know.
Yeah.
And if you didn't like it, we'll listen to you, and if you loved it, we'll listen to you, and that's just the way it goes.
Lots of people care about things that other people don't care about, and finding that balance is difficult.
Yeah,
when you're trying to please thousands of people,
and we'll never hit it. You know, because it's an impossible get. So you try your best and then get up the next day.
So I also, and this is a whole thing for like a couple weeks. This is like a month ago. There was like a couple controversy with guests or whatever people cared about.
Oh, it was
like
T.J. Miller and Ted Nugent.
Yeah, about like things they said or what they've done in the past or whatever. And a lot of people are like, and the overwhelming majority of people are like, why did you even reference them? Or why did you even talk? Who cares what they think? This, like this is ridiculous, blah, blah. Now, I just find it interesting to talk about it because it is true.
It's part of our reality, yeah.
So like why we talked about it is just content of like, hey, this happened. Isn't this interesting?
Yeah,
not really,
we're not trying to fan flames either. Like it's not. And neither is right or wrong. I mean, look, we're gonna do the show how we do the show.
And also they're not wrong by caring about it.
No,
and they matter just as much as any other listener. And so like we want to take their feelings into consideration, and we're not out here to we're not a controversial show. We're not a show that wants to stir up drama or have some sort of message or fight or anything, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I've always kind of looked at it, and maybe this is like dismissive or hurtful towards us, but I've always kind of looked at us like a dessert show. Like we're trying to have a good time and make you laugh and not really get you, trying to make you forget about some of the things that are out there that are not good. I don't know.
But we like talking to a variety, wide range of people, and some people, like, they are going to be polarizing in some aspect, and then it's like, people are like, I didn't like this, or like, why'd you support this?
What's funny is when this happens, sometimes I sit back and I wonder if we're, because to some degree, there's got to be some person that has listened to some of us, or like maybe something we've said uncensored and been like, well, we're like they've heard us and they're like, well, I don't like them.
Of course.
Like we're polarizing.
Yeah.
We have to be.
Yeah. No, there's lots of people that don't like it.
I mean, there's varying degrees of everything.
But that's something. Everything's subjective. Yeah. So, and it seems way less now because there's so much that it's kind of a bummer that there used to be a time where you can talk to a more diverse audience with a more array of opinions.
Oh yeah. Digital villages. Yeah, everybody's in their own little digital.
And so it doesn't. Like I used to.
Yeah, we used to get so many randoms. Like when we just did daily calls, like on a morning show radio. The slice of America that you got, or slice of, let's say, Central Florida, you would get one of it, almost everybody, and you don't get that as much anymore.
When I was on terrestrial radio, I remember even making an atheist joke or a joke about God or whatever. You used to elicit a response where sometimes I get emails, and I remember this one person that I used to.
He's no longer with us. I know exactly who you're talking about.
I didn't really fight with him, but I used to just not even argue.
No.
But it was like back and forth about Noah's Ark.
Yeah,
I just found it funny that
I remember this.
That you like wholeheartedly believed in Noah's Ark and everything, like every detail, like every animal.
There's that guy that built the museum too. Like that guy's crazier about it than even the guy you were fighting with online.
Yeah.
That guy built a fake ark in the middle of, where is it? Is it in Tennessee? I think it's in Tennessee.
Yeah. And the notion behind getting marching every 2 by 2 every animal onto an ark and then riding
the song is
flood.
dope. It's in Kentucky.
And Noah's 400 years old. And all this
yeah.
Like I get like there's sort of comic relief in the fact that
don't forget the dove. He brought back the olive branch. They knew they were close to land.
An adult believes this,
Yeah.
especially when I was in my 20s and I'm talking to like a 60-year-old man, so
Yeah,
I
he's
find
pretty
that
old.
even more funny.
He was pretty old at that time.
And then, talking about like Noah's Ark, and then like me.
How long did you guys
It was like
years, right? Like you guys would email back and forth.
Yeah, and then I'd make jokes on the radio because I knew he'd listen.
Yeah.
Just as
well, he was a diehard
fired
listener,
up again.
But I didn't think there was. It's funny because
wasn't any
you
hate.
did that for years. But yeah, again, exactly.
Yeah.
There was zero hate about that. Like you guys had completely differing opinions and would jab back and forth. But at the end of the day, it was like literally just a discussion. It was no more than that.
I remember even when gay marriage was on the slate for being voted to be legal.
Yeah.
And I remember even like talking about how ridiculous it is illegal, and then getting hate, from that stuff. Because I used to like that because I'm like, oh, I'm talking to like a wide variety of people that have way different opinions than me. And now it just doesn't exist anymore because everybody's listening to the opinions they want to hear.
They want, yeah.
And because there's such a variety, why would you?
Well, that's also one of the downgrades from on-demand society, right? Like one of the conveniences of that is that you get what you want. One of the inconveniences of that is that you're not going to get the daily opposing opinions that might shape your own opinion. Or might make you more tolerant to opinions you don't truly understand, right?
Yeah. But it's like me listening to the Noah's Ark podcast. Like I could only take so much, before
it's really good.
I was like wasting.
They always start with a comedy skit, and that's what I like about it.
I can't even believe that they believe it. I was like, that's what I really want to know. Like, do you really 100% believe 2 mosquitoes, like 2 beetles?
You know how hard it would to keep the mosquitoes?
There's enough different varieties of insects to sit. They're way more than the boat of you worldwide. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
that was the upper deck. You put the insects on the top.
If you just put 2 of each species of insect on Noah's Ark and sink,
you'd have to put 100 of each insect, because a lot of them are going to die. Maybe 1,000 of
I
each.
think like reptiles, you couldn't even. It would be physically impossible. Then it's like the whole earth flooded. Anyway, so many things. How can it be?
Just the elephants is hard for me. Like, honestly, 2 elephants, where are you put that? And how are you going to control them from stamping? Like, aren't they going to charge the other animals?
So Noah's 400 years old. Let's start from there. 400.
Oh. He looks good for his age, I'll tell you that. All right, we got to get out of here. Or take a break.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.